Well, Dr. Bill, you remember that gentleman that I was, and I use that term loosely, that I was doing all those beer reviews with? Mr. The ever so jolly and ever so intoxicated and goofy Mr. Tom Mulvihill, the beer whisperer.
Yeah.
That I did all those shows with.
Yeah.
That I thought were quite hilarious in sort of a slapstick way.
Yeah.
Since Tom is really America's favorite goofball drunk. Well, I had to give him the pink slip.
Oh, gee.
I gave him the pink slip.
What are you, Mitt Romney now?
Well, he, first of all, he's extremely unreliable. He did many no show, no calls. Never had the courtesy to apologize for stiffing me for shows. At least with John Starodumsky of Honest Craft Beer Reviews, at least he wrote me and apologized and told me why he didn't show up, which was very admirable of him. But Tom never apologizes, and he just does what he feels like doing, and in a very unprofessional manner. He did a no show, no call, and he did this one too many times. And he also is one of those adaptive supporter pacifists that is afraid of offending someone. He does not want to make waves, and I just can't deal with pigeon-livered pusillanimous pipsqueaks that are afraid to speak their mind, and plus his wife tells him what to do and doesn't like him doing the shows. So I've had it. So that's it. And he, of course, he quit all the groups, all of our groups, and on Facebook, but that's okay. You know what I mean? And he joined, of course, he sides with those other people in the other Facebook groups that are also adaptive supporters that are passive and afraid to speak their mind.
Well, it's like 95% of the American public.
There's even many progressive liberals and Democrats are like that. They want everyone to accept them and love them.
Love me, love me, love me.
Please love me. Oh, don't criticize me. I'm sorry if I said that the wrong way. Did I offend you? Oh,
I misspoke.
I misspoke. Instead of telling it like it really is, like we do.
Unlike Mr. Romney.
Right, Mr. Romney and our friend from the past that hides behind the photo of a Rhode Island Red Rooster. I'm talking about Mr. Red Rooster that I did a couple shows with from the food and beer group, Regional Food and Drink. At least I put my mug in front of the camera out in cyberspace every week and speak my mind. You speak your mind too, but you're mysterious. You're not in front of the camera. Oh, by the way, viewers and listeners, the reason why I am wearing the infamous crown is because Miss Kelly Chen called me Your Royal Majesty. Whether it was sincere or being sarcastic, I'm not sure. It might have been sarcastic, but that happens when you're controversial, naturally controversial, and you speak your mind and you're very outspoken. And you deal with the real hard-hitting truth, which many people cannot handle. Like Jack Nicholson said in the movie, you can't handle the truth. So,
Top Gun.
If I am Your Royal Majesty, then therefore, on this show, I will be Your Royal Majesty. Now, you ever watch the Late Show with Greg Ferguson?
I did, but not anymore.
Yeah, the Scottish gentleman. He's got a very nice personality. He's a very funny guy. He has this this young lady, this bitch that is a CBS, supposedly a CBS executive, that is constantly giving Greg Ferguson dirty looks and threatening to fire him which is what a lot of women do when they get in upper management or high positions of authority. They like to browbeat and threaten the men under them.
Are you sure this is not part of the show?
I don't know, but if it's part of the show, maybe Greg Ferguson has a dominatrix fetish of being controlled and you know,
He is English.
shaking in his boots. Why they have dominatrix fetishes are popular in the British Isles,
Yes, they are.
Great Britain.
Yes,
So
they
maybe
are.
that's why he has this. Is that kind of like a mommy thing?
Could be.
You know, like to be reprimanded and scolded and yelled at and threatened by a female?
And caned in school.
Maybe he does have a dominatrix fetish, Greg Ferguson. But get off his damn back, you big mouth bitch. Always giving him dirty looks and threatening to fire him. Anyway. Let's see. Oh, I hear, remember I was telling you last week, I say this often, that when will deregulated, conservative, greedy corporatism in the capitalist system, when will it end? You know, as soon as you think you've heard enough, you've heard everything, you haven't. American Airlines, from what I understand, is charging extra money for airline tickets for seats that are bolted down. Now they have seats that are bolted down that you pay more, and now they have seats that are not so bolted down, and then they have seats that are kind of like just sitting there. Gravity is keeping them in place that are less money.
How about the ones that flew and the seats came up? Did they give them back their money or something?
No, it's
Or
like
cost less
hey, you
for
get
their flight?
Oh, you got hurt. We hit turbulence. You got hurt. Well, there's probably a little clause, a disclaimer that says, well, you got a break. You got a discount on your airline seat, so tough luck. You know how deregulation is. But this is incredible. How,
Nothing corporations do is incredible.
and I'm sure this is due to deregulation, how penny pinching and skinflint, cheap, you know, just flat out greed will companies get. This is absolutely incredible.
They'll do it as long as they can.
They do it because they can.
Yeah.
That's why they outsource, because they can.
Exactly.
That's why they
And
don't.
it's a tax break.
That's why they don't
What are
pay.
you talking about?
That's why they don't pay taxes and have offshore mailboxes in bank accounts, because they can. One of my old classmates from computer tech school, Mr. Douglas Broadbent of Ridgewood, New Jersey, used to say that all the time. He says, James, they get away with it and they do what they do because they can. And
Exactly.
the reason why they can is because of the corporatist conservative politicians that let them. It's deregulation. Now, I'm sure many Americans watch the debates. There's one more debate.
I did.
There's one more debate Monday
Monday.
in Florida. I believe in Florida between Obama and
Yes.
Romney.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course Obama did so much better in the second debate than the first.
I told you why he didn't do well in the first, but I considered he did well.
Because he didn't want to get himself in a bad mood because it was his anniversary.
He wanted a little nookie.
Yeah, but his wife is not crazy for Republicans either. So I don't think Obama would have ticked off his wife if Obama
Well, he didn't know he was sticking off.
would have went for Mitt Romney's jugular vein. I don't
He
think
just-
that would have happened.
he
Michelle is a very intelligent woman,
He just stuck to the facts,
which is
and
what,
Romney came on like an actor.
which is the best policy and best strategy.
Yeah, but not when some guy is, acting and presenting himself in a lying manner.
Which is what Republicans love to do.
Chameleon.
He flips like a
Flip-flopper.
he changes like a chameleon. He flips and flops all the time, Romney.
Depending upon his audience.
And he
Yeah.
uses the infamous Joseph Goebbels tactic that Republicans like to use. You repeat a lie often enough, and eventually the public will accept it as truth. as a sort of brainwashing, I suppose. Now, but in the first debate, Dr. Bill, the media was constantly scolding and interrupting Obama for going over the 2 minutes, like Jim Lair. But I noticed that the CNN woman in the second debate
Candy Crowley.
also put her foot down with Romney too. So it was.
Oh, but the conservatives, they're on her back about that. She corrected him.
Heaven forbid.
But when she did that, she sided with Obama.
Well, she is CNN. She's not Fox News.
She's supposed to tell the truth, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, if Mitt Romney is full of shit, it's about time that journalists and reporters, also tell
put
it
him on
like
the
it
spot.
is.
Yeah,
Call him out on it. Yeah.
exactly.
Obama was doing a great job of calling Mitt Romney out on all his bullshit. Well, the Republicans are constantly talking about Obama's record, his past 4-year record. But they forget that we have a Republican Congress now, and Obama inherited 8 years of very severe damage by G.W. Bush. Forget that. And
especially in the last 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Total financial collapse.
So Obama only had control of Washington collectively for the first 2 years of his administration, correct? And then the goofballs in America voted in, the lemmings, the idiots,
Republican
voted in
the Tea Party.
The Tea Party lies and bullshit propaganda. They voted in a Republican Congress in the third year. So how the hell are you supposed to fix 8 years of G.W. Bush, the the war criminal that was never convicted?
Yeah,
him and Dick Cheney,
war criminal.
How are you supposed to fix the 8 years of damage by Bush in only 2 years? But the Republicans don't care because their only objective is to get total control of Washington and eventually make the world a corporate plutocracy.
Make the world go away.
A form of fascism, and enslave the little guy and have you working for peanuts or next to nothing. And of course the outsourced jobs will never come back. And that's basically it. I mean, that's all I have to say for now. You can go right to the readings. Before you go to the readings, I mustn't forget to formally pipe aboard my co-host and mentor, the very Pope of the Internet, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, with an authentic bosun's whistle.
Oh my God. All the dogs in the neighborhood are coming.
But that was a long one. Sounds a little different, but for those that research the history of the bosun's whistle, it was invented in the 12th century England, and what they did was, since they couldn't really hear a shouting voice with all the noise out there on the open seas, they gave different signals to the crew using different sounds, meant different things. It's interesting. I guess it's like flashing a light with Morse code was after it was invented, much later. They had all different various sounds with this.
During the presidential candidates debate on Tuesday night.
Did I say I was done?
No.
Did I say I was done?
No.
No, I did not say I was done. It happened. Welcome everyone to Progressive Discussions. I am your host for Progressive Discussions, James P. Madonna, and of course, I am with my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. It happens to be Saturday, October the 20th, 2012, and the countdown to possibly the scariest Halloweeny in the history of this century and the last century, Halloween 2012, with those infamous solar flares coming up the end of this year. So it should be a humdinger. And welcome everyone. We're at the Newsletter Censored Research Center in northeastern New Jersey, and I welcome you all to Progressive Discussions. This is my prop. It is an authentic Blackthorn Shillelagh imported from Ireland. It is weapons grade, and I love waving it around to help me emphasize certain things. It is the real deal, believe me. Quite hard and effective when need be. Now you may start.
During the presidential candidates' debates Tuesday night, did Mitt Romney say he would eliminate income taxes on interest, dividend, and capital gains income? If I heard right, that should bring a great sigh of relief to those lucky enough to be employed and living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Yeah.
I recall Romney beaming and intimating what a fabulous gift he plans to give us. Yep, to those whose major income source is stocks, bonds, and trading, not to those just scraping by, many holding more than one job, paying for child care and ever-increasing transportation costs. Yippee! Candy Crowley has failed as a moderator
I thought she did a good job.
because she took sides.
Oh, but it's okay for Fox News to take sides, or it's okay for Jim Lehrer to pick on Obama in the first debate?
The definition of a moderator is one who is a go-between, a diplomat, an arbiter, and a referee. Her statement on Benghazi had a strong effect upon both candidates. How sad for our country that we can be so misled. After the Benghazi attack, all the president did was apologize for the video over and over, and had the filmmaker arrested. How in the world can the president face the people and say he handled this as an act of terrorism? Mitt Romney was correct in saying that this situation was improperly handled. How many more times are we going to apologize to those who despise our country and hope for our demise? Enough. Well, the guy was a little upset here, but he didn't stick to the issue. The issue was, very simply, did Obama say the day after the attack in the Rose Garden it was an act of terror? And yes, he did. Period. And Candy Crowley corrected Mitt Romney on that point. Did that make her siding with Obama?
No, she was siding with the truth
Correct!
and the facts,
Correct again!
which is more important than partisan politics.
Well, not to conservatives. It is party overall.
Yeah, but
Or
conservatives would never say, the Republicans would never say anything if there was any media bias against the Democratic Party.
Well, that's because we have a liberal media in this country,
You think so?
according to them.
If we had a liberal media, Republicans, how come America doesn't really know the independent candidates? If a liberal media would be more fair and invite at least one or two independents.
By the way, speaking of independence,
debate.
I forgot the day right now, but I believe it's next week sometime. The independent candidates will be having a debate on WBAI here in New York. And you can go to WBAI.org to find out
It's
about
going to be
it.
on video?
Jill Stein, Rocky Anderson.
It's going to be on video?
No, it's a radio show.
Why can't the independents be on video?
Why? Because they weren't invited.
We're on video.
The FEC didn't say you have to invite them.
I'm surprised Gary didn't have them.
He had every one of them. He spoke to them.
And they were on his Ustream show.
Yeah.
But as far as I mean, to really have Americans get to know the independents, I think it should be video taped and streamed on the internet, or put on a cable station rather.
Or you can go to www.newslettercensored.com and click on Dr. Bill for President.
Yeah, yeah, that too. But I'm just saying
Or get the new newsletter.
that it's just a shame that Americans do not get to know the independent candidates
Correct.
at all.
And that's deliberate.
So it's deliberate. So where is your liberal media, Republicans?
Where is your liberty? Where is your freedom?
Your Rethug-lacans?
Presidential candidate Mitt Romney said 47% of American people would not vote for him because these people believe the government owes them something and are not looking to be successful. Therefore, he has basically written them off.
You need opportunities and breaks. You need them to be successful.
As a person who was an operating officer for a technical ceramic company for 35 years and a financial advisor for an insurance company for 22 years, I don't think I was looking for a handout. I also gave this country 8 years of military service. No, Mr. Romney, it's not that we are looking for handouts. The reason I won't vote for you is because there is something innately wrong with a party that attracts people like the business owner in Spring Lake who feels it's a good idea to express his views with such racist filth as he displays in his store window, or a congressman calling President Obama a liar during the State of the Union address, or a governor pointing her finger in the face of the President of the United States. They should at least respect the position.
I would have broke his finger right then and there.
Her finger.
Her finger.
Obama holds because he is the president of all Americans. Why are these people attracted to the Republican Party?
Yeah.
I refuse to
Interesting.
vote for or be part of a party that attracts people like that.
Especially since they're attracting many people who really it should not deal with the Republican Party, because the Republican Party does not have their best interests at heart, because they are living possibly paycheck to paycheck, you know, and most of their money is going towards survival and bills, and so why should they follow conservative ideologies and vote Republican?
Because the Republicans will lie. You know, as Mr. Michael J. Talmo has said many times,
Yes.
the Republican Party should be outlawed. It is a criminal party,
Well, it's-
and has been convicted in the past of franking, of voter suppression, etc., etc., etc.
Full of outlaws. Yeah.
But there it is, ladies and germs.
War profiteering. You name it. Ill-gotten gains, left and right.
And now, from the other side, The people voting for President Obama should think. Do they want scandals like Solyndra, Fast and Furious, and Benghazi Gate to continue happening?
Benghazi Gate?
Benghazi Gate,
Benghazi Gate?
Yeah. Are they really better off now than they were 4 years ago? Are they going to be happy paying more taxes in addition to those that Obamacare imposes? Are they happy with the nearly trillions of dollars of debt Obama has added in 4 years? Will they be even happier with him adding trillions more if he's re-elected? Is Obama seriously going to do anything about getting more than 23 million unemployed people back to work and reducing the amount of people on food stamps? What happened to hope and change in 4 years? Where is the accountability, ethics, and integrity of Obama's administration? There's none.
Why doesn't the jerk ask the Republican Congress those same questions?
He doesn't know about that. He also doesn't know about the fact that the trillions, 5 trillion I guess it is, that have occurred on Obama's watch are because of paying trillions of dollars to the banks to take over their crap. Their derivatives, which were worth nothing.
Welfare to the rich and Wall Street bailouts and the over-bloated defense budget. You eliminate, you severely cut back, well, rightfully cut back on those two things, and I think you would really have taken care of the deficit problem.
You know, the Republicans did not worry about...
of course, put the tax burden back on the rich.
The Republicans did not worry about the deficit back when there was a surplus under Bill Clinton, which Mr. G.W. Bush immediately got tax cuts for the rich and did away with the surplus. Now they're worried about the deficits when they had a surplus when he went into office. My.
I think Obama should employ Bill Clinton as an advisor if he wins re-election.
I've had it with all this political nonsense. Vice President Joe Biden behaved no differently during his debate than Mitt Romney did with Obama. But for some reason, the public has totally forgotten Romney's behavior. Interrupting, overstepping time limits, smiling. Is this limited to Romney as acceptable behavior? Every time Romney speaks, he has a different view of his beliefs. He can't say that about Obama. His beliefs and views have stayed the same. He cares about all of us, not just the 53% of us left over after you dump 47% of the unimportant population.
Mm-hmm.
Romney seems to think it's a choice to need help from programs that I've paid into. He thinks I'm some kind of freeloader. I still pay my income taxes, but need help to meet all of my daily needs. If it hadn't been for Obama's policies assisting the needy, I would be living in the street. I had extensions on unemployment to help me through a rough period.
I was gonna say that. Federal extensions to unemployment. You think a Republican would have federal extensions to an unemployment?
They cut them from 96 weeks down to 76.
But if they had total control
There would be no unemployment insurance
and no welfare either, right?
and no welfare.
So what do you when you
and no Medicare.
So if you're
and no Social Security.
so if you're broke, you die.
The Republicans are not interested in the 47% of Americans, which aren't broke, but they're not the haves. As Mr. G.W. Bush said once when he was before a bunch of haves,
Mm-hmm.
he was saying there are the haves and the have-nots and the have-mores. Some people call you the elites. I call you my base. That's the Republican Party. How much clearer do these things have to be before people get the message? Maybe that shillelagh should be popped on people's heads so
Well,
that they get the message.
Let me tell you. Well, they won't get a massage. They'll get something worse.
Yeah.
They'll get a caved-in calabasa, which is like a pumpkin. A
Well,
squash
let's
in
call
Spanish.
upon Gallagher then to do a little, squashing of pumpkins and watermelons.
Smashing pumpkins and watermelons.
Yeah.
No, sometimes I hurt my own hand when I smack it with a shillelagh. That's how hard this blackthorn is.
Romney seems to think it's a choice. Excuse me, I think I read that. Romney spoke the truth to his rich friends and supporters when he referred to the 47%. After his comments were exposed, he changed his tone. Watch out, middle class. If this man becomes president, it can get worse with no help from any government program. After all, 47% of us are freeloaders.
40% are freeloaders.
47.
47% of America are freeloaders, huh?
Yeah.
What about the 1%
How about the big
elitists
thing?
what about the 1% elitists that haven't paid taxes in 30 years, right?
On Patriots.
They're not freeloaders living in America and not paying taxes.
On Patriots.
They're unpatriotic.
That's correct.
Plus sending jobs overseas.
Correct.
Unpatriotic.
Destruction.
But let's stick with the word freeloader. They're not freeloaders for being filthy rich and not paying taxes.
What about the big banks? Are they freeloaders?
When they take bailouts
Yeah.
and subsidies and bailouts
Yeah.
to corporations, that's not welfare.
Obviously not. There's some other word.
I think Obama should bring these statements up in the third and last debate. About
Third and last debate is about foreign policy.
But you notice nobody.
Something that Romney doesn't even know nothing
You
about.
notice that unfortunately Obama and Biden have not really called out Romney when he uses words like moocher and freeloader, and mentioned the corporate bailouts and demonize corporate bailouts and call them welfare, what they are, and put the rich on the spot about not paying taxes.
Putting the rich on the spot. We haven't done that for about 32 years.
So what is holding back a Joe Biden or a Barack Obama from really using these statements?
Because they too are beholden to corporations.
So if they give the middle finger to the 1% and said, screw you,
The campaign coffers will go down.
the party will end when I'm reelected.
Yeah. Something like that. I
Okay.
watched the vice presidential debate.
Wait, I is in you or I is in the person?
I'm reading this letter here.
Oh, the letter. Okay, I'm sorry.
And heard Paul Ryan say that Social Security was there for his family after his dad died. He explained how it helped him through college until he graduated. The Ryan family, his mother, and siblings used this benefit, which helped them to keep solvent. My husband passed away and I raised 3 children on my own. When my children were ready to go to college, President Ronald Reagan took that benefit away.
Ah. Well, what did he care? He was a rich guy. You know, he don't give a shit about anybody else.
You know what Republicans say about their presidential candidates? They just want somebody in there with enough of an IQ that they can be manipulated. And there was Ronald Reagan.
The puppet.
Thank you. President Ronald Reagan took that benefit away. Their Social Security benefits ended when they graduated high school. Now, Ryan would love to privatize Social Security and impose vouchers for senior citizens to purchase health care.
Yeah, right. Like they can afford to pay it.
What was a helpful and important benefit that Ryan family used and spent, he will now deny to others. I guess Ryan does not understand how hypocritical he is. I guess not, bingo.
Many Republicans that are wealthy have used government programs throughout, you know, in the history of their life. I mean, it's like that banner I saw where the businessman had a look on his face like he was crying. I think he might have been a small business owner, and he's crying the blues, saying, "I built my business. I built my business from the ground. I built it." And then it lists all the things that helped him establish his business that came from the government.
Yeah, he built the roads. He built the street lights.
Oh, he built everything.
He built everything. Yes.
Yeah, right. My ass.
So that his business can flourish. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's all a bunch of bullshit. I guess Ryan does not understand how hypocritical he is. I'll take what the government gave me, but now you can't have it. Of course, the GOP, the
Greedy old party.
thank you, has never liked this very successful program. I wonder how many Tea Party members are cashing their Social Security checks each month.
Oh yeah, they'll take the handouts left and right if they could. They won't refuse money. It's a greedy old party. But heaven forbid if the middle class and the poor should take help.
How utterly noble and bold of Representative Paul Ryan, after resolving our deficit and debt issues, to take it upon himself to rethink and pontificate on the structure of government established in the Constitution. In the several points that, and they're referring to the writer of the article, Mr.
Right.
Doblin, made were spot on, particularly when it came to Ryan's elevation of the act of being elected to that of democratic sanctification. In determining the constitutionality of a law, I would gladly take the opinion of an unelected justice over an elected official who argues that there are different, valid, invalid, legitimate, non-legitimate forms of rape. Whether it is a pompous governor or another political ladder climber, the elected, unelected ploy has been worn out and is insulting. The responsibility of any federal Supreme Court is not to determine whether a law is necessary or unnecessary or good or bad, but to determine whether or not it is in contradiction to other federal law or infringes upon the rights that have been reserved to the states or the individual. If Ryan's comments weren't so egregious, I'd be laughing. Long live the Constitution. And long live our independent federal and state Supreme Courts. You know, it's a funny thing. Republicans like Antonin Scalia and these other judges who say that the Constitution, we must interpret the Constitution from its original intents. It's not true. If that were true, there would be no way to make amendments to the Constitution. The fact that we make amendments to the Constitution means that the Constitution is a growing thing which is allowed to change as times change.
Right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, we're doing pretty good on time this week.
Have you ever eaten algae?
Absolutely. Spirulina, chlorella.
You probably have, although you might not have known it.
No, I've known it.
Just what are algae anyway?
It's a plant life. It's a phytoplankton. It is a plant, phytoplankton.
Alga is a plant-like organism. Most live in groups.
I like to take care of the organism outside right now. Quiet!
So we usually use the plural algae. Algae are simple organisms. Sometimes larger algae look like plants. But they don't have specialized parts, such as leaves or roots. There are thousands of different types. Algae can be single cells, so small that hundreds could fit on the period at the end of the sentence.
Yeah, true.
Or they can be large. Phytoplankton are a type of algae that live in bodies of water. They are usually made of only one cell. Zooplankton, or single-celled animals, are not algae. Most algae live where it is very moist, in the sea, or in bodies of fresh water. They also live in soil and snow.
What?
Snow!
Snow?
Snow!
They grow in snow? They're not in hibernation?
I guess not.
Amazing.
One type of algae
Amazing.
lives by using the morning dew in the desert.
You kidding me? In the desert? And what happens when during high noon when there's no more dew?
They'll have to just
They'll just have to make do with the dew.
They'll have to make do.
Remember that stupid song from the 80s? Do, 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 da, 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 is all I want to say to you. Remember that?
Kelp are a type of algae.
Oh, really? I thought it was just seaweed.
It looks as if kelp
Sea vegetable.
have leaves,
Sure does.
but they don't really. Kelp can be as tall as 300 feet.
Wow. Wow. Well, I know sea otters like to hang around the kelp beds off California looking for abalone, which is very expensive, by the way.
You sure that's not a lot of baloney?
No, that's not a lot of baloney. That's a lot of abalone, and it's an expensive clam.
Like plants,
Beautiful shell, though.
most algae use sunlight to turn carbon dioxide gas and water into food. When organisms create their food out of light, it is called photosynthesis. Algae and plants take in carbon dioxide and give off oxygen. Luckily for people and animals, oxygen is the waste product of photosynthesis. We couldn't live without the oxygen produced by algae. Algae are often organized by their colors. which are usually shades of green, or red, or brown.
That is true. There's blue-green algae, which would be spirulina, would be a form of blue-green algae, and there are reds, and there's an algae, a red algae from Asia that is said to be have the highest antioxidant ORAC score of anything on the planet, even higher than any fruit or vegetable on land.
Different colors have different ways of using photosynthesis. Experts believe each color probably developed or evolved from a different organism. One beautiful type of algae is a diatom. Diatom cell walls are made of glass. The tiny one-celled organisms come in many shapes. These live between crystals of sea ice in Antarctica.
Antarctica?
So it is the diatoms that live in snow.
Antarctica is colder than
A witch's tit.
no, much colder than a witch's titty. Colder than the North Pole. The Arctic. You know what? I'm ready to go out there and tell the owner to take care of the dog.
Well, you can't do that because he's out. The dogs are out.
Well, dogs that are barking that much for a reason. Maybe he wants to go in.
No, the door's open.
It's a red-headed dog.
Oh, that's not
He
even
looks
the one
like a
that's not the one I'm even talking about.
looks like a cocker spaniel or something.
The one I'm talking about is black.
Oh, black and white. Oh, the Jack Russell.
No, I thought it was the other one. But the Jack
Well,
Russell is black and white.
The old geezer's dog. There's
So
two dogs. I
there's
seen
three
two.
of them.
I see. He's got 3 dogs.
Yeah,
What's with these people? They don't have a pot to piss in, and they got all these pets.
Well, somebody's living with him to take care of him. He's in bad shape.
Oh.
So he brought his dog.
He's in bad shape, and he's going to make the audio sound in bad shape for us. He's going to bark all day long.
The stakes in Colorado's marijuana debate
Yeah.
are getting much higher. As in all the way to heaven.
Mm-hmm. Really?
A vigorous back and forth between pot legalization supporters and foes entered the religious area on Wednesday. A slate of pastors called on Coloradans to reject making pot legal without a doctor's recommendation. It's heading to a path of total destruction, warned Bishop Aiken Phillips.
Aiken Phillips?
Yeah.
Why, he suffers from sciatica and aches and pains?
About 10 pastors spoke at the event, organized by the campaign to defeat the Colorado ballot proposal. If approved, the measure would allow adults over 21 to possess small amounts of marijuana for recreational use. Oregon and Washington have similar proposals before voters next month. Colorado's legalization supporters respond quickly to the holy war on pot, releasing a list of clergy members who support legalizing the drug and ending criminal penalties for its use. Those ministers argued that religious leaders and parents should guide decisions about marijuana, not the law. I do not support smoking pot. I do not like this stuff, said Reverend Bill Curtin.
Who cares what he likes and what he
Wait a
doesn't
second,
like?
this is one for
Oh, okay.
law.
Oh.
a retired Methodist minister in Denver. But the harm it does is much less than sending more and more people to prison.
I think alcoholism
It is worse.
is worse.
But again, you must look at the fact that it is smoking.
True.
And it is like 100 times putting the toxins into your body that cigarettes do.
Who said this?
Well, these are studies.
Well, smoking
So it is,
produces tars, and I think the tars causes the cancer.
In any case,
In any case,
it's not good for your lungs.
well, because you're smoking it now. If there's medicinal value in a plant, and you make a tea infusion out of it, or a tincture or extract, and you use it for, like, for instance, people with glaucoma.
Well, that would be hemp,
That would be.
not the marijuana itself, I don't.
No, they have medical marijuana for glaucoma.
Did anyone ever drink marijuana tea?
No, I'm just saying. If you have a plant.
At least you can get oil from hemp
Well, you can get a lot of things from hemp.
and things
What
like
I'm saying,
that.
what I'm saying is, if a plant has medicinal value, just because it can help your health, doesn't mean it can be smoked. You know what I mean? The smoking is, you're burning something, right?
That's correct.
And you're creating, like you're telling me, when you grill
Meats, yeah.
a meat and you have a steak black on the outside,
Acrylamides, yeah.
acrylamides, okay? Stuff happens to plants when you smoke it. It burns. It creates tars, maybe acrylamides of a different sort.
Not good things for the
No,
lungs.
no,
And I think it's time to legalize marijuana.
it is.
Asked about supporting an illegal drug as a man of the cloth, Curtin chuckled that many of his former parishioners had probably tried marijuana. But he conceded that it can be difficult for active ministers to take a stand about the drug. A lot of pastors are, because of the toxic nature of current politics, hesitant to speak out on issues. Curtin is retired. He said he feels more free to talk about pot. I think there's some hesitancy to speak out, but I think most of my peers would agree with me. At the rival press conference, pastors warned that marijuana legalization could encourage youth to try the drug, leading to more serious problems later, and attract the drug dealers and others who prey on the needy.
Well, when you take something off the black market, then there's no profit to be made by the sleazy people, the criminals.
Yeah.
And the cost drops considerably, right, when it's off the black market.
Yes.
To me, marijuana being illegal and filling up America's prisons, wasting space on marijuana-related arrests. Same with prostitution. They're so frivolous. I wouldn't even call them crimes, really.
Well, the problem is that it's not
Often,
wasting space because the prisons are privatized, baby. And they like to fill up those spaces.
Oh, they're privatized as
Yes.
we speak right now?
Yes, they are.
Even in New Jersey?
Big business, baby.
Even in New Jersey?
Everywhere.
So the state penitentiary in Rahway, New Jersey?
I don't know about the state. It's obviously the state. It says the state.
State
But
penitentiary.
there are other,
Penn.
private-run prisons,
Well,
which love to have people come in.
well, I know what they're about.
Oh, no
They're
kidding.
about slave labor. They're about slave labor.
They're about putting someone away for life for writing 3 bad checks
In Texas.
in Texas. That's what they're
You
about.
see, I mean, I told you there's a lot of sneaky things going on behind the scenes that the American public doesn't know about, and this is it. Privatization of everything, and the prisons. It's a very sneaky way to acquire slave labor.
It's
free labor.
immoral. Immoral.
It's worse than outsourcing and having child labor overseas. You know, it's worse. Slavery. But, you know, the human race is such a vile and sinful sort. But anyway, I'm sorry for abruptly getting up. It is time for the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman's gastronomic delight known as lunch. And we'll take a break and come back and do promo. This is coming from Your Royal Majesty, James P. Madonna. Kiss my, well, I don't have a ring. Otherwise, I'll have you kiss the ring.
Oh, God.
Well, Dr. Bill, it is without a doubt that I think it's been over a decade since we've been doing internet talk radio, progressive internet talk radio. I think it has been over a decade. And you, of course, have been the managing editor and putting out newsletter censors since 1977. And of course, I've known you for a good 20 years until internet talk radio streaming became knowledge in our minds. I don't know how long internet talk radio streaming has existed, but we've been doing it for some time now, and we are without a doubt, in reality, the kings, thus the crown, the kings of internet talk radio. I've been getting heat for you and I not doing a rehearsed scripted show with a series of specific questions to be answered, and I explained over and over why we do what we do. I think it makes for a much more interesting show when you are ad-libbing, when you're unrehearsed. You start with a general theme. You target your show with a general theme and a specific format, and our format is to tackle the theme in an ever-flowing, unpredictable, unrehearsed manner. Free-form media, free-form talk show. And yes, we do believe in asking all the important questions, as well as any miscellaneous questions involving the subject. And we do believe in thoroughly covering the subjects. But I don't want to get into this robotic, Android corporate-like format where every word is like pre-written, like somebody reading a script that somebody else helps you write.
Like Mr. Romney?
Yeah, perhaps, like Mr. Romney. It's so phony, it's not genuine. I like the ad-libbing because it's the real deal.
But
it's
why
coming
would
from your heart and from your mind. What's that?
Why would someone criticize a show?
Well,
that is a show.
Well, these are
what do they have to do with how the show is run?
Because
enjoy the show.
These are the
you don't like the show? Bye.
Don't watch it. But there's plenty of garbage on the air to watch. You can always watch Honey Boo Boo.
Whoa.
And really dumb down your intelligence. But what I'm saying is, the same people that criticize our ad-libbing and call it unprofessional, I guess to be the same as everybody else and be at corporate, like an automaton, I guess that's professional, to do what everybody else does. But these are the same individuals that don't believe in an open, free-form exchange of ideas and opinions, uncensored, on social groups. They believe that you have to spout happy thoughts and positive messages and walk around with a phony smile and say, gee, everything in life and in this world and in this country and in our system is wonderful, and I love everybody and everything's so great, and hide from the problems, not tackle the problems head on. They don't grab the bull by the horns. And as soon as somebody like myself posts things that are 100% factual, right away I supposedly have a black aura of negativity around me.
Doom and gloom.
I'm a doom and gloomer because I dare to be naturally controversial, which what you do is what you do when you give the facts and you speak the truth and you tell somebody off that deserves to be told off, like somebody who's ill-mannered and rude and selfish, and you call them out because of something they might have done. But then you become the bully. You become the bully, the negative bully. So these are people, would they be considered adaptive supporters? People like that?
Non-wave makers, yeah.
They don't like to make waves, like Tom Mulvihill, the intoxicated beer whisperer, the goofball. He don't like to make waves. Many people do not like to make waves. You know, like my grandmother used to say, she was also a pacifist. She used to say, as opposed to my grandfather, she used to say, hey, you can't fight City Hall. So what do you do?
Hey, Gandhi was a pacifist, but he got things done.
Yeah, but Gandhi had a lot of very profound, hard-hitting, deep statements that he made, messages, you know, like Confucius. Gandhi was a very wise man. But he, like you said, he got things done. But he got them done in a very passive manner.
Yeah.
Gary No can sound that way, but when Gary No gets pissed off, he gets angry.
Hey, God gets angry.
Like Flory Sabin told me, she's seen Gary yell at people and get irate, you know. So when you have to, you know, it's like I think Obama made a statement one time. At first you thought I was weak like a lamb because I was in other words, you mistook my kindness for weakness.
Yeah.
You mistook my kindness for a weakness.
Mm-hmm. Republicans do that all the time. Remember George Bush? There's a sign out in the Old West. Wanted, dead or alive. Yeah, we're going to get Bin Laden, dead or alive. Hey, you didn't get it.
No, they didn't pronounce it Bin Laden. They said Ben Laden.
Whatever.
Ben Laden. Well,
he didn't get him.
Wanted, dead or alive. You know, what about that old Western sign applying to G.W. Bush and Dick Cheney? Wanted.
Well, they were wanted.
Oh, they're not wanted for anything?
But Obama carfluffled the deal.
Carfluffled? Is that like a hillbilly talk?
Interfered with?
Oh. Finagled?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can call it that.
The
So,
International Court was wanted them, to try them for war criminals.
so there were a couple slippery eels. Gabadoon, as we say in Italian. Slippery eels that slipped and slided with a little luck on their side and some connections. Got away with it.
Yeah.
Well, getting back to us being the kings of Internet Talk Radio, you're not going to find straightforward well-researched facts and covering subjects that are taboo to the mainstream media, plus the wittiness, the humor, the spontaneity of what we bring to the table. So, you know, I mean, look at it this way. Jackie Gleason did not believe in rehearsing. The legendary comic of the Honeymooners and many other things. Jackie Gleason believed in ad-libbing, you know, and he did fine. I mean,
Well,
They didn't-
if these people that hand you these things, if they can do a better show, God bless them. Let them do it. What do they have to do with this show?
But I'm lucky enough to get them to show their mugs on and be a guest via webcam on one of my progressive discussions or holistic health talk on location. I'm lucky to get them to show themselves on their webcam. So they're criticizing people that are on the air every week in cyberspace for the whole universe to see in living technicolor, for people that are on the air speaking their mind with honesty, straightforward honesty and truth, and they will not go on the air or put themselves on a worldwide video and make their statements.
But they will criticize the format of the show.
Yes,
This is unconscionable.
You know, like, oh, you guys don't do it properly. You're supposed to have a series of questions and blah blah blah, and then
And then you're part of the mainstream, and then you don't get the truth out
and then
anymore.
all the nitpicking takes place. Well, you know what I said? I never really got an answer, but I said that mainstream media is like salesmanship.
PR.
They take PR, public relations. They take a little bit of truth, they take some truth, and they twist it, and they distort it, and they exaggerate upon it, and they make it much bigger than what it is. And sometimes they put words in your mouth, which is the twisting and distorting. But
And and then you get sponsors, and then you can't say shit.
and then once you get sponsors, and you find that, this is unfortunate, you find that you can make a living now as a journalist or a talk show host, but now you can't tell people the real truth on your show because the sponsors are corporations, and they'll get upset and they'll start pulling their advertising, and then
Cut
you
your
won't,
lifeline, baby.
and then there's no money and you won't get paid, and your camera people don't get paid, and your makeup artists don't get paid, and blah blah blah. It goes on, and then you're off the air.
And
And-
you're just another has-been,
And you right,
or never was.
right, and the real truth doesn't get out. And how much good do you end up really doing if you're part of mainstream business as usual, as opposed to Gary Noe, who you got to give him a lot of credit. Yes, he did get fired from a lot of mainstream stations for telling the truth. Sometimes a little bit too much truth, but he took the bull by the horns and he created the Progressive Radio Network. And I heard that he uses the money from his products to support the Progressive Radio Network. And that's, you know, the rest is history. PRN is doing fabulously, you know, and that's that.
Yeah.
So this is the drawback of going au naturel with the fresh air and the sunlight. And it happens to be Saturday afternoon, so you hear a lot of bullshit outside. So please forgive the noises. Like, what would you call it? White noise? Or bad? No, white noise is something that drowns out something.
At least it ain't bodily noises.
Well, Howard Stern doesn't mind bodily noises,
No, he doesn't.
bodily functions.
No, he doesn't.
All right. Back to the readings.
Back to the readings.
See, I got here a little early, so we're making good time.
Officials in this South Jersey school district are investigating a parent's claim that a teacher forced a 5-year-old girl to eat a bagel that was pulled out of the trash.
Yuck. Oh, like when George Costanza of Seinfeld took a chocolate eclair
Yeah.
out of the garbage that was really not touched and started eating it and he got caught? Okay.
As her classmates watched.
Teacher did this, huh?
Candace Taylor filed a complaint with Deerfield Township school officials this month
Good for her.
after her daughter told her about the incident. Taylor's lawyer said the girl got the bagel as part of her school breakfast but threw it out.
Maybe it was shit. Maybe it wasn't a good bagel. Maybe it was stale.
After taking a bite because she didn't like the taste. Taylor says she has been keeping the child out of school because her daughter feels humiliated.
I would have grabbed that teacher by the throat. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like Jersey talk. By the throat. And I would have gave him the back of my hand. Old-fashioned USDA grade A knuckle sandwich. If my kid was abused like that in any way, shape, or form. If I had any kids. But, listen, children out there, boys and girls, tell your parents everything. Tell your parents it's always best to nip the problem in the bud early and get it out in the open. So, anything unusual, I mean anything, abuse, somebody touches you, if somebody tries to lure you in their car, tell your parents everything and try to remember all the details and tell your parents. Tell your parents, or if you see a police officer, tell the police officer. Or your school principal, you know. Go ahead.
Multivitamins modestly lower the risk for cancer in healthy male doctors
In the right dosages they do.
who took them for more than a decade. The result is a surprise because many studies of individual vitamins have found they don't help prevent chronic diseases, and some even seem to raise the risk of cancer. In the new study, multivitamins cut the chance of developing cancer by 8%. That is less effective than a good diet, exercise, and not smoking, each of which can lower cancer risk by 20 to 30%. Multivitamins also may have different results in women, younger men, or people less healthy than those in the study.
Right.
It's a very mild effect. And personally, I'm not sure it's significant enough to recommend it to anyone. The same old canard. We need to do more studies.
Well, that's just an excuse of not having anything enter the market that will affect their profits from drugs. That's their part of their oppression of natural supplements.
Although it is promising, said Dr. Ernest Hawk.
Hawk?
Hawk.
I thought you said something else. All right.
At least this doesn't suggest a harm, as some previous studies on single vitamins had, he said. I believe he's referring to the synthetic carotene
Synthetic
studies
beta
with the cigarette smokers.
You
or
know, I was
something.
trying to explain to my mother, it's not the natural carotenoids that cause the problem. It's the synthetic beta carotene. And she goes, oh, okay. Oh, there's a synthetic beta carotene? I go, yes, there is. The reason why I smiled like the Cheshire Cat is because I forgot to do promo.
What?
All right.
Hawk
finish.
Hawk reviewed the study for the American Association for Cancer Research, which is meeting in Anaheim, California, where the study was presented. About 1/3 of United States adults and as many as half of those over 50 take multivitamins.
I'll do it at the end of the show. How's that sound?
They are marketed as a kind of insurance policy against bad eating. Yet no government agency recommends their routine use, regardless of the quality of a person's diet. Some fads, such as the antioxidant craze over vitamin A and E and beta carotene,
it's a real
backfired
Let me tell you something.
when studies found more health risk with them, not less.
Oh, really? Whose studies? Conducted by the drug companies? Bullshit. They're lies. Antioxidants, uncle oxidants, whatever you want to call them.
Many of
Work.
those.
They work. And they
Many.
prevent disease, and they prolong a quality lifespan. They increase your lifespan, and they prevent disease, and they really work. Don't believe this propaganda from drug companies. The FDA is not on your side. The USDA is not on your side. This is
They are on the side of Monsanto.
Monsanto, genetically modified poison. The big mamoo. That's all they care about.
They're pouring millions of dollars into the campaign in California, which wants them GMOs to be labeled.
That's
But
right.
they don't want that
That's
because they know we won't eat them.
a very important proposition coming up this November in the state of California. Labeling, honest labeling in foods. Telling people if the food is genetically modified or not. Very important. You have a right to know what you're putting in your body. And, extremely, extremely vital. But antioxidants really do work. And antioxidants is your body's best friend, really.
Many of those were single vitamins in larger doses than the 100% of daily value, amounts that multivitamins typically contain. Science on vitamins has been skimpy. Most studies have been observational. They look at groups of people who do and do not use vitamins. Dr. J. Michael Graziano of Brigham and Women's Hospital in VA Boston led a stronger test. Nearly 15,000 male doctors who were 50 or older and free of cancer when the study started were given monthly packets of, oh jeez,
What happened?
Centrum Silver.
That garbage?
It has synthetic vitamin E in it, I know as a fact.
DL alpha
Acetate.
acetate, DL alpha tocopherol is synthetic. The D alpha is natural vitamin E. D alpha tocopherol, DL is synthetic, and the dosages are so outdated and so microscopic. The RDAs, even if you're slightly above the recommended daily allowance, it is terribly outdated. It doesn't even come close to the real recommended daily allowance that your body should be getting.
After about 11 years, there were 2,669 new cancers. And some people had cancer more than once. For every 1,000 men per year in the study, there were 17 cancers among multivitamin users, and more than 18 among those taking the placebo pills. Oh, look. You see. That worked out to an 8% lower risk of developing cancer in the vitamin group.
Well, this propaganda I think it's the drug companies are behind it. You know, the drug companies are definitely behind it, and the AMA, the American Medical Association, the American Dietetic Association, they're all behind it. You know, spreading this misinformation. Of course, the drug companies are not going to do sufficient double-blind placebo studies to prove anything because they can't patent it. They cannot patent vitamin E or vitamin C or an herb. They try to, like with omega-3 fatty acids. They have that drug now made from fish oil. It's so ridiculous.
Krill.
No, it's
Big Red.
no
Big Red.
No, Big Red is natural krill. Now I'm talking about a drug company is advertising
Lavicin or something.
Lavesta.
Levicin.
It's
It's a very pale yellow pill.
It's a patented drug
yes.
that they claim, and it's supposed to make people feel better. That
It's supposed to be omega-3.
It's derived from omega-3 fish oil, but it's a patented drug. They want to isolate something, synthesize it, and patent it.
Or add something and
Right, because
patent it so they can make the moolah.
yeah, everything's about profit above about just about everything you can think of.
If they could, they would patent the sun.
No, well,
And
luckily,
then you would have to pay for sunshine.
luckily, the sun will vaporize these greedy corporatists.
Don't bet on it.
Capitalists. I'll bet on it. I'll bet on the sun any day against
They will not be punished.
against capitalists.
They will not be punished.
How do you know?
They have too much power.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. Why do you think we have to fight?
What happens?
Why do you think we have to fight for a law
What do you think
that
happens?
GMOs should be labeled?
What do you think happens to a larger animal when soldier ants in the Amazon jungle overtake it?
That requires people to work together. People do not work together.
Because they're a bunch of pussies. They're a bunch of pusillanimous pipsqueaks, cowards. So
You have
how
to
is
work within the context that you have.
how are the capitalists going to patent the sun if the sun will
I
vaporize?
said they
them?
would like to.
They would like to. Okay.
They would
Ah,
like to.
that's a different way of putting it. They would like to. Oh,
Already they patented life.
that's a joke.
No, they have. Artificial life. They patented. They've created it. What do you think GMOs are?
Artificial life.
Artificial life. Yeah.
Hey, do I look a little bit like the Dos Equis man with my whiskers, my beard?
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Stay thirsty, my friends. We don't usually like Republicans, but sometimes you find one that has manners, like Rick Sanitarium Santorum when he went on the David Letterman show.
He has manners?
No, he was quite nice, but
Oh.
he was quite nice and very alert and very sharp, but he wasn't too fond of compromising and bipartisanship.
Yeah, his policies are crap.
And he's also a religious nut.
That's where his policies come from.
Yeah.
It's very strange. that
Ideology.
These Republicans that tout liberty and freedom, they're always wanting to put into laws their religious nut stuff for you to obey. Well, that's not very free.
Well, do you remember online? If you want religious leaders to be involved in politics, then tax them. Like if you want to mix church and state, all right, tax those churches that want to get involved in politics.
Yeah, well, they should be taxed anyway. Let's go back in time a little bit here.
Peter Popoff. I saw him again late night TV. His evangelical.
And what was he spouting?
He was spouting that if you order his little vials of blessed, holy spring water, and you anoint yourself with it, it will be equal to having the hands of Peter Popoff being placed upon you and getting the blessings.
Oh, God.
All right, go ahead, continue.
Oh, Lord. Vice President Joe Biden's dismissive, insulting, haughty derision of Republican vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan was a contemptuous, rude, smart alecky scoffing at the very notion of a vice presidential debate. His attitude of intellectual superiority, he was superior to Mr. Ryan.
Without a doubt, the man was so sharp as a tack, so intelligent, so articulate. The way he reacted was very applicable
And appropriate.
and appropriate. Joe Biden is great.
His attitude of intellectual superiority was made transparent by his sardonic grinning aimed at upstaging and distracting Ryan.
Because Ryan was lying.
His sneering and interrupting were condescending cheap shots. There was only one brief moment of humor when the two men acknowledged that sometimes responses were a little Irish. I.e., phrases like Biden's that the Republicans' ideas were full of stuff.
Well, he shouldn't have said stuff. He should have said
Nonsense.
nonsense.
Crap.
Or fluff.
If Biden had exhibited that kind of continuous taunting to another guy in an Irish pub, he would have been punched right in his mocking teeth.
Knock his block off. Hey, Rock.
Rock'em sock'em.
I want you to. You remember when he tied up Rocky's right arm because he wanted him to. He didn't want him to fight Southpaw because he had a.
Which Rocky was this? I don't think I saw that one.
I think it was Rocky. Rocky 2.
Oh, I saw that.
He says, "I want you to punch the bag. I want you to punch the bag with this, with your left arm 500 times. Do it till it hoits, Rock. Do it till it hoits." That's how he talked. Burgess Meredith. They've been playing all the Rocky movies this past week on a certain station. I'm watching them late at night. But yeah, good article. Continue.
No matter which side you're on, Ryan is a member of Congress, elected by the people of Wisconsin, and the official vice presidential nominee of the National Republican Party. He is worthy of at least a modicum of respect.
Modicum?
Small amount.
Oh, okay.
There's not much surprise in this era of winner-take-all reality TV shows like Survivor
Oh, I hate that show.
and the You're Fired Apprentice. Is that still on?
Celebrity Apprentice. Well, they're in hiatus. It's not the new season yet, but it's quite interesting to watch celebrities bicker and talk about each other behind their backs and the fighting and it's like the hardcore porn with and the same with Survivor. They talk about each other. There's it's very petty, but it's entertainment.
The whole idea is not only to win,
Yeah.
but to demolish your opponent at any price. Biden's behavior was beneath the office of vice president.
Oh, because he was making Paul Ryan look bad, and the Republicans did not like that. Too bad.
I had to check my sanity after reading the editorial. Did we watch the same debate?
Oh,
Vice President Joe Biden broke every debating rule. He was rude, loud, bullying.
Loud.
He didn't let Republican candidate Paul Ryan answer any question
Well,
without making childish noises.
what about the interruptions of Mitt Romney against Obama in the first debate? The aggressiveness of
I guess that's overlooked.
Romney, yeah. Or the obnoxiousness of Rush Limbaugh or Newt Gingrich during the campaigning.
Stupid gestures and ridiculous claims. I was expecting an intelligent exchange between two men running for vice president. Instead, I witnessed a free-for-all orchestrated by Biden. But what else could Biden do? He couldn't debate the issues,
What? That's all that came out of Biden's mouth is facts.
so he acted like a jerk.
But what the issues? Well, what came out of Ryan's mouth?
Certainly not the issues. Maybe he had an issue, though.
Misinformation.
An issue.
Yes, misinformation is what you hear from Romney and Ryan.
And the moderator allowed his childish outbursts.
Childish.
Biden showed his true political character. If you can't make a good debate point, then don't let your opponent talk. Well, that's the Republican agenda, is it not? To talk over you, ad hominem attacks, etc., etc. That's out of their guidebook, their playbook.
So I suppose they feel that
When it's used against them,
I feel
if
that
that is what happened.
I suppose they feel that Mitt Romney got a raw deal in the second debate too.
Oh, absolutely.
He was picked on. He was made
The
to look.
moderator interfered.
Romney had plenty of time to say what he had to say, and he just didn't have the facts to back himself up, and he lost the debate terribly, and Ryan lost his debate by quite a substantial margin. The conservatives don't have the true facts to back up their stupid ideology.
Because there's no foundation to their house. They cannot build upon it.
That's like
They can't make a frame, you know?
it's like the criminal or the mischievous child that gets caught with his hands in a cookie jar, you know, and you make
What are you
up,
going to do? Believe me or your lying eyes?
and you make up a lame excuse. Meanwhile, the proof is in the pudding. You know? Oh,
It's no wonder that our government can't make progress. With people like Biden representing us, I'm amazed anything gets done. One thing I came away with, I no longer like or trust Joe Biden as vice president, much less a possible president. I mostly choose to smile and smirk at the outcry over Vice President Joe Biden's grins and interruptions during the vice presidential debate. I acknowledge that he could have been a bit more visually restrained, but clearly, in today's political culture and zeitgeist, lying is more dignified than reacting to a lie by smiling or smirking.
hey, a person can make any facial gesture they want. It's their right to do so. If he had a sour lemon puss on his face, they would criticize that too. At least he was smiling, and he has nice white teeth, straight teeth too. Joe
He
Biden,
does, yeah, he
he's got a
does.
nice set of choppers. But you know, he was smiling so much because Ryan was full of shit.
I wonder where these letter writers and journalists were during the Republican primary debates, or when a Republican congressman called our president a liar in a public and televised forum. Perhaps some of these letter writers are consistent in critiquing across the political spectrum. If so, they deserve great admiration and certainly have mine. If not, At least I can thank Jon Stewart and his satirical genius for smiling and smirking at hypocrisy while helping us laugh away our dismay.
Well, amongst Republicans, from what I understand, Mitt Romney is not exactly the pick of the litter.
No, he wasn't. That's why. But obviously something went on behind the scenes. And the conservatives said, all right, let him do what he wants to do to get the goddamn elected. Okay? That's all we want is to get our man in there.
He may be a stooge.
Our doofus.
He may be a doofus and a stooge, but he is
There.
easily manipulated
Yeah.
by the party and the fat cats.
That's it.
A
And that's all they want.
A stooge will not necessarily have a free, open mind. You know, be an independent thinker. They will be easily persuaded.
They don't have to be persuaded at all. They're manipulated because they owe, to the people who put them in there.
But they're easier to manipulate if the guy that's in there is kind of a
Doofus.
dimwit.
A dimwit. They say that. They say that.
A numbskull, like Mo Howard used to say all
The
the time.
conservatives say that. Okay, it's not a secret. That's what they say. All they want for their guy is to be someone with a low enough IQ that he can be manipulated.
So it's all about party. The hell with the American people. And all the gridlock you have in Washington is to be expected. I wish Democrats would, including Obama, would forget about bipartisanship. You can't negotiate with terrorists. You can't negotiate with criminals, and you can't negotiate with conservative corporatists.
And you certainly can't negotiate with people who want to make you a one-term president.
Right, because they have an agenda.
And actually say it out loud.
They admitted it.
Yeah.
Turtle face,
Mitch
McConnell, the turtle face, he admitted it. They want the corporate plutocracy in power. They want to, by either in a subtle way or not so subtle way, they want to kill off the poor, starve out the poor in various ways. Believe me, various ways. Through preventing people from being fertile that are low income, like spiking the drinking water and the bottled drinking water so people have less babies.
Or vaccinations.
Vaccinations, which will make you more sick than the disease, sometimes more than the disease that you're vaccinated for. Like these poor children who had complications with the influenza vaccine and died from the influenza vaccine. List goes on and on and on. Or just not giving food stamps and welfare or any support for the poor, and then they end up in the street and that's it. And it's illegal to feed the homeless, so the homeless will starve. All this shit. It's genocide. And then of course they want to enslave the middle class working stiffs after the middle class are not so middle class anymore. And they want people that are desperate. The masses are desperate. They work as slaves. This is the agenda. But nobody in mainstream politics or the mainstream media has come out with it and said it, except for people like Jesse Ventura and Alex Jones. Okay, Jesse's running in 2016.
Maybe.
He had said everything's a maybe when it comes to politics. Hey, Donald Trump did a make-believe running for president. But anyway, before
Governor Christie
I was just going to say, what happened to old Balloon Boy?
says he does not have a choice on security when he travels. Sure he does. He can say no. New Jersey taxpayers should not be paying for his political ambitions and his use of New Jersey as a platform. The same goes for President Obama. I assume taxpayers are paying for some of his re-election expenses. A sitting president should not be spending valuable time away from his duties trying to get re-elected. I suggest 1 6-year term. That way the country will get 100% of a president's efforts for the entire term. The president and the governor have enough to do without being distracted by re-election. It's time to make changes that are good for our country.
Really? So
6-year presidents ain't good for other countries.
So if you're stuck,
Across the world.
so if Obama's in for 6 years, and the American people do something really stupid, which they did, electing a Republican Congress, then you're stuck with the Republican Congress, and you have all this gridlock, and nothing gets done in 6 years. Now let's stick to the 4-year terms.
And not only
So
4-year
you,
terms.
so you have the opportunity to get rid of clean house and get rid of the politicians.
Here's something also that I haven't heard anybody speak to. When you get a good guy in there, like Franklin Delano Roosevelt,
The people should
they voted him 4 times.
That's what I'm saying.
4 times.
He was in for 4 terms.
He died in
FDR?
his 4th term, yes.
If you got a good guy, if it ain't broke and it's working really well, don't fix it.
Well, we can't do that anymore, though.
Well, didn't was it Ed Koch, who, the mayor of New York, that was in for more than 2 terms?
No.
Also.
No.
Or was it Bloomberg?
Mr. Bloomberg did it. It had the law changed.
Oh, because he's a Republican, and they're like dictators anyway.
And, of course, the Republicans led to the change that you could only have a 2-term for president.
Yeah.
So
Well, finish up Tubby's reading.
it is tiresome to read in 3 recent letters the same old allegations against President Obama, all of which have been refuted several times. Let us try one more time. The first letter cites figures to show that the recent drop in the unemployment rate is false. The fact that the lower figure was reached in precisely the same way it has always been done is ignored.
Mm-hmm.
The second letter poses several questions, all of which have been answered more than once. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? No, but I'm no worse off, and would have been had the Republicans continued to govern. What's the price of gasoline? Is it high? But has been getting higher ever since the 18 cents per gallon of my youth? Our presidents have never controlled the price of gas. Do you feel safer today than you did 4 years ago? Well, I feel safer than I did before President Obama eliminated Osama bin Laden and energetically pursued Al-Qaeda. Who is coming in over our unprotected borders? I'm not sure. But whoever they are probably the same kind of people who have come in the past. Our borders are no less protected than they ever have been.
They're still getting in.
Are our overseas diplomats safe? Not as safe as they should be, but making them safe, especially in hostile countries, is immensely difficult. And by the way, the country that they are in is supposed to protect them. When all these jumbalones come here for UN meetings, you see what happens in New York with the police. They go nuts to protect them.
Yeah. But in these other countries,
Well, we don't know exactly what happened yet. That's what Obama is trying to tell us.
talking about with Libya,
Yeah. Let's hold off here. Let's find out the truth. Then we can say things.
believe me, when they find out without a shadow of a doubt who did it,
Well, they know it was terrorism.
What do they call it? SEAL Team 6?
Yeah.
We'll get them.
Or a drone.
Or a drone.
Or a Tomahawk missile fired from a submarine offshore.
Yeah.
Or a destroyer. There's
Well,
a couple of ships over there right now.
Well, today's nuclear subs are the number one arsenal in the Navy. The subs and the aircraft carrier. That's about it. Everything else is more or less obsolete.
Well, I'm not sure if it's General Dynamics or what. But there was a bill before the Congress worth about $3 billion to refurbish the old M1 tanks,
Tanks?
which we don't need, which is garbage, obsolete. But did the Congress vote down the $3 billion? No, because the contractor who was refurbishing the tanks wouldn't let them.
You,
They need the money
you know what they do with
to
a lot?
refurbish the tank.
You know what they do with a lot of old tanks? They clean them out. They clean them out, make sure there's no oil, no oil or gas of any kind, and they use them in artificial reefs off the coast of the Northeast.
Yeah, well.
They dump them, in certain sites, just like they sink. Might sink an old barge after it's totally clean, and it creates a reef for
Yeah,
fish
they do
and for
that with
divers.
Old railroad cars,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Should I reprimand him?
It's too late now.
So he keeps on trying to eat everyone else's food.
That's what he just did.
What? Who does he belong to? We're talking about these cats in the neighborhood. Who's he belong to?
Up the street. Woman up the
Well,
street.
this is what happens when you're nice to all the animals. You can't. You got to show who the alpha is.
They want to sleep here too.
Too bad.
Can't do that.
Too bad. So anyway, the Chris Christie reading. You done?
Why are many Americans still on food stamps?
Why?
Because former President G.W. Bush and company wrecked the economy.
Because they don't have the money. Because the economy was destroyed. Right.
And caused many hard-working people to lose their jobs.
And people lost their houses to boot.
The third letter, which accuses the president of being an actor, playing the part in a very low-rated movie, simply provides us with one more example of the groundless name-calling in which some Republicans indulge. This kind of thing has to stop. Such comments contribute only to the harsh division from which we now suffer. Obama is not perfect, and informed criticism of him is important. Only when we can come to respect each other and offer well-founded and polite critical comment will we ever become again the great country we once were.
Listen, people have to stop being blind. They have to wise up. They have to stop being lazy and do their research. Americans are such fools. I mean, you vote in Obama for a big change, and then you turn around and you vote in a Republican Congress. How
For no change.
How for no change?
Huh.
For gridlock? How is Obama supposed to repair the eight years of damage of G.W. Bush if you vote in a Congress that's contrary to the man in the White House? It's illogical, like Mr. Spock would say.
Well, it was logical because that was the plan.
But people had to vote for these scallywags.
Well, the people who voted for the scallywags voted for them to do nothing. They don't like government.
They don't
want
like
small
government. But
so they can drown it in the bathroom.
I know, but how do they convince the populace?
Because it's all government's fault. Don't you know the crisis was government's fault? too much regulation.
But
That's the narrative.
you're not answering my question. How
That's their
did
narrative.
the propaganda machine, the conservative propaganda machine, convince the people who voted in Obama to turn around and suddenly vote conservative? How do they get them to believe the crap?
Because
the
they
lies?
hear only one side.
Because the media is at fault.
If you were a truck driver
Yeah.
and you took a route from New York to California,
Mm-hmm.
drove across these United States, in the southern states, in the Midwest states, and the western states, all you would hear on your radio would be right-wing propaganda shows.
Because you're in like the red Bible Belt kind of states, and it's
That's all they have.
and it's biased.
Exactly.
Okay, let's.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let me do promo that I was supposed to do before, but are you done with that article?
Yeah.
This gentleman, actually promo is kind of better at the end. This gentleman next to me is a self-portrait, a watercolor self-portrait of my co-host and mentor, the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, who happens to be a fine watercolor artist. You can go to Google and type in the William J. Eisenman collection and see it on slideshow. Or you can go to the Newsletter Censored Facebook page and see the entire album. And if you see a painting that you like, go to newslettercensored.com, email Dr. Bill, see if it's still available, and if it is, you can procure one. Authentic watercolor painting signed by William J. Eisenman. Work it out with him. Okay? All right, now, if you're wondering how to join our organization and how to be a part of our organization, well, it's very simple. This is the way you do it. Founded in 1977 by the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman, Newsletter Censored. This is a brand new issue that just came out. What is it? Volume 121? 121? Titled Angel of Light.
Angels.
Angels, plural. Angels of Light by William J. Eisenman, PhD. This is the best way to join and be a part of our organization. This is the backbone of our organization, Newsletter Censored. Like I said before, founded in 1977. Okay, this is the type of information that most people are afraid to hear. Can you handle it? Go to newslettercensored.com, click on the printable order form, and with your gift to support this work, get your free annual subscription to the newsletter that started it all. Newsletter Censored. There's nothing else like Newsletter Censored. It's one of a kind. You need Newsletter Censored. We do live in the end times, and you need news to learn how to fight a conservative, and with the God Project to find out what the Bible really has to say, not what right-wing zealot fundamentalist counterfeit Christians tell you what the Bible says, but what the Bible really has to say. It's all in here, and plus extra things that you don't find in our talk shows or on our websites, like Sexuality, A Holistic Approach by William J. Eisenman, PhD, and of course the God Project, and also, if there's room, Tidbits. So get your annual subscription right now. This is the way you join us. This is the way you support us. Okay, now I just want to say really quick, because from what I understand, from what Flory Sabin told me, I just want to use this as an example. Flory Sabin, a very good friend of mine, and a very good friend of Dr. Gary Null. So I will salute her in all her fine work that she's doing as a health and environmental activist on the East Coast. Flory Sabin, I salute you with my lucky shillelagh. All right. Gary Null supposedly did a show about the possible solar flares that will come the end of this year, how to deal with them, how to survive them. I have not seen it yet. Okay, I hear it was very good, just like everything Gary No produces, and I want to see it. It's especially done about solar flares, and this is probably what makes 2012 so infamous in reality. I don't know what's going to happen when supposedly when the planets align. I don't know, but I know we're supposed to get severe solar flares by the end of this year. This item that was acquired by the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman is a replica of a hurricane lamp. Okay, he acquired it from a company called Dr. Leonard. Am I correct? Dr. Leonard's catalog. Just Google them. And it is an LED. It is not a kerosene or oil lamp. It is a very bright LED lamp, and I would advise you, sometimes they're on sale, buy one get one free. I would advise you to acquire them, and they're battery operated, so stock up on batteries, good batteries. And as you can see, they're LED lights. That's maximum, and I'm dimming it. Shutting it off, turning it on. I'm increasing it to the max. Nice bright LED lights. Okay, I know it's going to bother your eyes, but I just want you to feel the high technology of LED energy, brother. Feel it. Feel it, brother. Feel the love. Feel the energy. Feel the energy. Sounds like a holy roller, born again. Feel the energy. LED science. LED lights, as you well know, are replacing all other lights. I guess they're more efficient. They giving off the maximum lumens.
Last longer.
Longer for the least amount of energy. So this is it. I would get these. Much safer than candles. Definitely safer than oil or kerosene lamps, and I recommend you get them. All right, let me shut this off. So that's it. All right. You know, just they're not metallic. They're made of plastic.
Yes.
Are they, or it is metallic?
It looks tin.
Oh no, it is metallic. I'm sorry.
It's tin.
It is metallic. The knob is plastic, but it is metallic. I'm sorry. But they're cute. You know, retro, old-fashioned lantern look. And they have a dimmer switch. So just make sure you have a good supply of reliable batteries.
D.
They're D batteries? How many Ds are in here?
I believe it's one.
Oh, one D battery.
Take a look at the bottom.
Those are the big batteries. Well, I don't want to...
No, don't open it, but
No.
there's room for one or two. Because I think it's only one.
Oh, I don't know. How come I can't get it open? You know what? Whatever.
Let me look at it.
What?
Just show it to me. Just show me. Might be two.
Might be two. All right, let's say it is two. I'm sure if we have a blackout, but like I said, if it's solar flare thing where the grid goes out, we're going to have worse problems than lighting, believe
That's
me.
for sure.
Because that means the nuclear power plants, the rods won't be cooled anymore by
That's
the water.
It. Overheat.
Overheated
And
rods.
that's it. All New York is gone.
Meltdown.
New Jersey.
That's why
Connecticut.
when Obama said to Romney, you know, he mentioned all the green alternative energy sources, and then he mentioned he threw in nuclear power. That's a no-no, man. Look at Fukushima. What happened there? I mean, what are you gonna do? Have meltdowns all over the country?
Another no-no is green coal. I mean, clean coal.
Oh, I was going to say that. Oh, I'm glad you reminded me. Why does Romney keep on saying clean coal?
Because he's lying.
There is no clean call. I was waiting for Obama and to say that.
Oh no,
There-
Obama believes in clean coal too.
But it's not clean. It's not clean. So what do they want to do? They want to level all the mountains and take the beauty away from America just to get
And
all this
pollute
coal?
the air.
Huh?
And pollute the air.
It's not
By burning
clean.
coal.
Politician will always be a politician if they're in a two-party system. There is no clean coal. Oh my God. Anyway. Clean coal, clean coal. You see, this is why, no wonder Jesse Ventura cannot stand the two-party system. Oh, unbelievable. Because money is in politics. And the way to get the corruption out of politics is to get the money out of politics, which means if you go to newslettercensor.com and you click on Dr. Bill for President, you will see that very statement explained, and also, of course, that you have a right to write in a candidate. And don't forget to check out Censored On Demand Archive Classics and the God Project On Demand Archive Classics. You never miss a show when you go to the Mega Life 21 YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us for Progressive Discussions. This is your Royal Majesty, James P. Madonna, the King of Internet Talk Radio, or I should say the kings, plural, of Internet Talk Radio, Progressive Radio. It's actually quite nice today. We're having a mild autumn so far. But say so long to these jabronis.
So long, jabronis.
Bye-bye.
Jabronis.
Jabronis.